Hello and welcome back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann and I am so glad that you are here. This is the journal that I worked on in February 2026, and I participated for the first time in a new to me challenge called Februllage. The idea is that you collage. They tend to do more what I would call pictorial collages rather than layering of materials on a page, which is what I typically do with collage. Anyway, I decided to try it just to stretch myself. I had a lot of fun, but it was during school and things got a little crazy and I ended up not really having the time to do videos for each of the prompts. And so I decided I would do just a flip through of weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it just occurred to me that I never did a flip through of weeks 3 and week 4. So I'm going to do a quick video to show you what I did for the week 3 prompts. And then I'll do another one that includes the week 4 prompts. So let's go ahead and jump in. Actually, I'm going to zoom this just a teeny bit further. All right, so the prompts are here, and I do have to confess I don't remember what all of them are, so I may have to flip back here. So week 3 would have started with the 15th, and that prompt was daffodil. And so let's go ahead and find that page. I did not make this one to journal in. I really did just make this as more of an art journal. So something to kind of look at and enjoy. And so, oops, it's tilted a little bit. All right, so here we are at the 15th, and the prompt was daffodil. And I took this one fairly literally. I just included a daffodil on my page and did mostly what I really enjoy doing, which is just layering fabric or patterns of paper to create a background. And then I sort of tucked the daffodil in to the pages. And I also really thought this map behind here was kind of fun. I have used Alice in Wonderland in a couple places throughout the journal, including the cover, just because I thought it was sort of fun and a little bit whimsical and witty. And I was trying to play and to make this journal be playful. And so I included Alice here for the 15th, so daffodil. And then the 16th, see, I already have to flip back to check on the prompt. So the 16th was toilet paper, and I did not want a picture of toilet paper, so what I ended up doing, it might be a little tricky to see, but I used toilet paper as one of my collage elements and added a little bit of ink to some of the edges to help it stand out, and here to sort of bring out the texture. And I used the colors on the opposite page to decide what I was going to do on this page, because the background was pretty plain. So I tried to pull the browns and the oranges and the blues from this page onto this one, so they work together even though they were created separately. Because they do work together so well, I did pull this piece from this collage onto the previous page, which I thought was another nice way to sort of tie these two separate spreads together. Excuse me. And then also, I sort of imagine that Alice is standing there and she's looking over and seeing the butterfly on the other page. So yeah, pretty simple, just some papers layered with the butterfly on top, but I'm really happy with how that turned out. So the next day was the 17th, which is here, and the prompt was mathematics. And so I had fun with this one. I really wanted to include the Mad Hatter, and there's this 10/6 thing on his hat, so I thought he was perfect for this page. I made the background a page out of a math book, so you can see there's some multiplication problems there. And then I thought numbers would make sense because, you know, mathematics. So I grabbed a bunch of tickets that had numbers really prominently featured on them and included them on the page. And I also included a clock, just as another way to work in some numbers. And I especially like how he's standing on this particular ticket. And I let this one hang over the edge, so it kind of functions as a little bit of a tab as well. And then because it sort of felt appropriate, the journaling or the words on this page are remember to play. So that was day 17, which was mathematics. And then this we already talked about. So this 2-page spread was the 18th. And this, so whereas these pages here were kind of more what I typically do with collage, this was a little bit different because I just took some large images as opposed to paper. I collaged images onto the page, which is not something that I used to do, or I usually do, but I'm super happy with how it turned out. The head of this girl is from a paper doll digital that I purchased, and then the body is from a collage soup book, as is this bottle. And then I think this image was also from a digital, as was the background page here. This map page was in the journal that I had purchased. And then I glued some bits of doily and a little doodad that I had to kind of create a fancy hat for her. And then just layered in a couple, like a card and a roller, bit of ephemera, and then a sticker from a tomato that I purchased. And I think the composition on this page is really nice. I like the juxtaposition of the blues and blacks. And I also, even though I didn't plan this way at the time, I have the pink here, there's some pink in her shirt, and there's some pink over here. So I had sort of 3 things of pink going, and actually a little bit up here as well. But then on a later page, I ended up using this pink dye, and it sort of pops out. And I love when layering of other pages kind of show up with previous pages, and they sort of add to the overall look of the page. So anyway, that was day 18. Oh, and the prompt, I'm sorry, the prompt was costume for this day. And so 2 ladies in costume. So then the 19th was pigeon. And as soon as I saw this prompt, I remembered this pigeon, and I have to be honest, my kids were older by the time this book came out with the wacky pigeon on it, and I don't remember it. Some of you probably will. But I wanted to recreate him, and so I created the pigeon using a bunch of torn bits of paper, which is not something that I'd really done before. And I figured maybe having a sort of a quirky bird to try the technique out on was a good way to sort of try it out for the first time. And I'm overall really pleased with how it turned out. The background is really just the paper. It had some interesting texture kind of peeking through. And then I used a card behind just to give it something to sit on. And I don't know why, but I decided that the bird's name was Josephine. So this is the most noble Josephine. And this silly bird still makes me giggle. Oh, and I also used this ruler bits again, this time to create some some legs and claws for the bird. All right, so after the 19th was the 20th, and that was family. And, you know, it's not a journal without at least one Tim Holtz paper doll, and I love this family. I did distress this image a little bit. I wanted to take off some of the sheen and also make it look old, and a little bit of layering with some labels, a little bit of paper. There's that pink die cut. I love the pink and the orange and the brown together. I think this color combination is so pretty. And again, it works with the opposite page, even though it doesn't necessarily go with or even match the opposite page, but they make sense opposite each other. A little bit of stamping here in the background. And I love the way this label just ended up, this flower worked out perfectly like it was part of her shoulder. That made me super, super happy. And then focus on what's important. So yeah, another page I was super satisfied with. And then the last prompt for that third week was the 21st, and it was soap. And I'm gonna cover this up because this is the following week. I had this idea. I've had this package of soap for a while, and so I thought I could use this. And so the idea was soap bubbles, and I had these floral images. I just cut them out. So the idea that the scent of the soap released florally smell bubbles. And then I just tucked a little card in that could be used as a journaling card. In the end, I feel like this was a little bit flat, and I may come back to this and just do a little bit more to kind of zhuzh it up a bit. I'm just not sure what to do, but it feels kind of flat compared to everything else. But that's okay. The point of, at least for me, the point of this is not to create a brilliant page every single time. It's to play and to learn and to have fun expressing myself. And I think that I did that here. So that is the end of week 3 of Februllage 2026. And I am so glad that you joined me. I hope that you jump in and take a look at week 4, which I will do next. And until then, get yourself in your studio, and as always, make a great day. Goodbye.